Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first ever video and I am quite nervous because I've never done anything like this before and I feel a little bit awkward, so the first video might be a little bit awkward and uncomfortable to watch, but hopefully I get better as I learn. This is completely new to me and I don't have any of the fancy equipment or lighting and sound stuff, so yeah, apologies if the quality is not the best, but hopefully it will get better as I go along. It is also very much a learning journey for me, and this year I kind of decided to do stuff that pushes me out of my comfort zone, and I also wanted this year to be a learning journey, not just with work stuff. Work stuff was very much a learning journey in 2021, but this year I want to have a journey of personal growth and learning new things and doing things that scare me and just becoming a more well-rounded person. So I'm going to start my channel with one of my most favorite things to do. It's something that I wish I could do full-time just for fun, you know, just maybe win the lottery and just do this all day long, because it's such a creative thing and it's so cute and so pretty, and I think everyone should do this because of the amount of fun and entertainment it provides. They are the DIY miniature house kits by a company called Rolife. If you look online, you'll also find it under Robotime. This one is called Lisa's Tailor, and I was so excited to get this one. I've been wanting it for a very long time, and my husband got it for me for my birthday last year, which was like a few days ago because it was in December. So thank you so much, husband, you made my day. So Lisa's Tailor is a kit that reminds me a lot about my mom because she was a seamstress. She passed away in 2004, and I think that building this kit will be a really nice way to remember my mom and think about my mom and just connect with her a little bit again. So every little kit comes with a story, and I really like reading the little stories because they're really cute, and sometimes they don't make the most sense, but I think that's kind of what adds to the cuteness. So this one says, Lisa's Tailor. This is a tailor shop in pursuit of perfection. The lamplight glimmers at night. In the dappled light, an antique sewing machine stitches the chirps of insects on that hour and moment. Okay, let's get started and see what this kit has in store for us. So one of the things that I love about these kits is, and being a graphic designer, this stands out for me, is the packaging and the design that goes into the packaging. So every box has a little picture on it, even the back has little details on it, and I really appreciate the time and effort they took to make their packaging look so beautiful. Even the sleeves on it, it has a little zoom in of what you can expect in the kit and the kind of materials that you're going to use. So this one has paper and fabric and wood. It also tells you what to expect in terms of tools and the kind of stuff you'll be doing, like painting some of the parts, and also shows you what glues and stuff are in the kit. Okay, every kit kind of has the same stuff inside of it. So if you have a look, it's got your instruction manual, which is flying away, and then your bags of fabrics, wires, electrical components, paper, beads, wooden parts. So the instruction manual sometimes is a little bit hard to understand what they want you to do with each part, so you kind of have to just interpret it a little bit And the more and more you build of these things, you actually start understanding the instructions a little bit more, and you instinctively know what to do with some of the parts. So the introduction is all about the kind of parts there is, the kind of tools that you need. Some of the tools are not included in the kit, but this is stuff that you'll find lying around your house, like a ruler, scissors, a craft knife, those bulldog clips. Those are really handy for gluing flat parts together, the wooden parts. It will also tell you which of the parts that need to be painted before you start building. I find that the paint that they include in these kits, especially the white paint, is not the best. It's quite translucent and you need a lot of layers, which then just takes forever to dry. So I normally use my own craft acrylic, which is a lot thicker and provides a more solid paint color. And also this white is not the whitest, it's like a creamy color. And if you're looking for a more crisp finish on your whites, then rather use your own craft acrylic paints. It'll also dry a lot faster because I'm very impatient and I hate watching paint dry. Okay, this kit has 2 different types of glue as well. And I have a love-hate relationship with both of them. So the first is your white latex glue, but it's actually just a cold glue or a wood glue. This one is nice for gluing paper components, like onto wood components, but you can also just use a normal school glue, like a Pritt, for that. It works the same. But this one, if you are using it for paper on wood, it doesn't bubble, it actually leaves a nice flat finish. This is also really nice for gluing wooden parts together because it dries clear, so if you do spill a little bit of glue, you won't even see it. The only problem with this glue is that it takes quite a long time to dry. So if you are gluing wooden pieces that are at an angle or something, then you actually have to sit there and hold it until it's dry, which can be quite frustrating and time consuming. The second glue that you get is the clear liquid glue. This glue irritates the hell out of me because it's runny and gooey, and when you glue things together, it makes those glue strings and they just get everywhere and it's messy. Also, when you're applying the glue, it runs quite a lot and it doesn't stop, so you end up messing glue all over your parts. So what I've actually started doing is I would take a spare plastic baggie and I would actually put blobs of glue onto it and then dip the components in the glue and then put them together. That works really well for if you're doing plants that need to go into a paper thing. So it's usually like a stem of a plant that goes into a paper leaf base thing. Then you would dip it into the glue and then into the paper, and that works much better than actually pouring the glue in and sticking the thing. But I will probably have to show you how to do some of that because there are a couple of plants that need to be made here. And plants are my absolute worst because they take so much time and they require so much patience, and that is something that I don't have. And I would have thought that by now, after having built so many of these, that I would have learned a bit of patience, but I was wrong. So this has some stuffing. I'm assuming that is because there are quite a few little scatter cushions that you'll be making with this kit. So this is the stuffing for the cushions. Oh, there's a really cool little glass jar in there as well. I've done a couple of kits that have had these glass jars. Some of the other kits though they require you to make glass jars, which is actually just like a clear straw that you cut and then put a little lid on, which is very clever. Just going back to the instruction manual again. So they break down the instructions into like obviously every component that you're making, and then it starts off with a list of the components that you will need for each little part, and they will reference a bag number. So every bag has a sticker on it with a number, and you will find the parts in there. And then there's also a parts list that comes with each kit, and these part lists are for all of the wooden parts in it. So you will see they are numbered with the part number. So it's very easy to actually take a part out of its bag and then place it on top of here, because these are in scale, so they're the exact size of the wooden parts. So then you can very easily check which part is which part, because some of the parts, like especially the longer pieces, there's a lot of them and you might get them a little bit mixed up. The parts list is also very handy because it will show you exactly which parts need painting. So this set only came with white paint, so you'll only need to paint white components, but you'll see this is white, so it shows that it needs to be white. Some of the parts will be white, but others you'll need to paint. So like that one is also white, and I think this is one of the ones that need painting. But the first page of your book will say which parts need painting. That's also really handy. So this book is quite thin, which is very cool for me, because that means that there's not a lot of plants. My first kit ever was Kathy's Flower House. It's this cute little see-through greenhouse that has a lot of plants and flowers in it, and the book was so thick and it drove me nuts, and it's probably not the best kit to start with. Yeah, so if you're just starting out with this, try and avoid kits that have a lot of plants. I think a really good starter kit would be the snow house. That one took me just a few days to finish, but it was really cute. Alright, so let's have a look at what we have in the box. This kit comes with a lot of elements that you wouldn't have to make. Well, some of the kits are quite complicated in the parts that you have to make, and you're like, why didn't they just give me that thing? But this one, luckily, you won't have to make a dressmaker's doll. I really like this part, it's very pretty, and also quite solid and well made. And you have your bag that has all your little beads and little metal pieces and stuff in it, and this bag contains some of my favorite parts of this whole kit. So the first one is the little miniature sewing machine. This looks like one of those old antique Singer sewing machines. My mom actually had one of these in her sewing room that she inherited from my grandmother. So this is quite a nice nostalgic memory for me. This kit comes with this black thick cardboard stuff that is actually for the base of the sewing machine. So you've got all of those wrought iron details that those sewing machines used to have. So if you have a look there, you can see there's the wheel and the foot plates and the sides with all the frilly wrought iron work. It's absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait to make this sewing machine, I can't tell you. Other cute parts that this baggie has, like a little mini pair of scissors, and also a very, very detailed little mini iron, which was quite a nice surprise. Like, I didn't expect it to be this detailed, but it's gorgeous. This bag also contains little flower pots and these little metal things that you would use to cap off beadwork, that they normally use for flower pots actually, or like little bowls. It's really clever the way they put all these parts together. Most of these kits actually come with lighting, which is really cool. I don't think I have any kits that don't have a light in them, but I know that there are some. So you get your bag with your batteries and your switch and all the wires, and the lights that they normally use is it's a simple little light glowy thingy. It's quite easy to put together, but the first one that I did, I actually messed up, and I cut the wires too short, so I kind of delegated this to my husband. So now he puts all his stuff out and he starts soldering the wires together for me, and he makes it look a lot neater. So that's kind of his job with these things, but that's towards the end of the build. When you start putting the stuff together, then you need to start doing the wiring. And it's also really cool that it comes with batteries, so you can immediately switch the lights on and you don't have to go to the store first to buy some batteries. Obviously, because it's a Tailor, it has a lot of fabric. So we'll be making like a stand with rolls of fabric on it, and there's a whole bunch of pieces of fabric just lying around on the ironing board, on the cutting table. There's a curtain as well, and obviously all the little cushions. Most of the time with these kids, if you're making cushions, you just glue them together with the white latex glue. But this does have quite a bit of string in it, so I don't know if I'll have to start doing some needlework. I should say, yeah, the instructions actually say that you will need a needle, so yeah, we'll be putting my sewing skills to the test. Let's have a look at all the fabric that's inside. It's quite a nice variety of fabric in this one. I have so many scraps of fabric from previous kits. Could actually make my own kit with all the leftovers. It also comes with this paper. It's like a textured paper. This is usually what you would use to make the flowers and the plants with. What's in here? There's also, there's some moss. The moss is quite tricky to work with. Because it is quite static. So you're trying to grab a piece of it, but it ends up just like scattering because of the static electricity in these. So yeah, not a fan of the moss, but it creates a really cute feature. So most kits with paint come with a paintbrush, which is really handy. I've got 5 million paintbrushes. The rope is also quite nice to work with. So a lot of times they actually tell you to separate the rope and then open it, and then it creates a nice like thin, like a narrow piece of paper that you can also make plants or things with. And then these things are the basis of most of your plants and flowers. They call them flower stems in the instructions. They come in all different colors. So luckily there's only a few. That means there won't be a lot of flowers or plants to make in this kit, which is great. I see this one also has some clear plastic. So this is usually for windows. And then also some reflective metallic stuff. This one is actually sticky at the back, so mirrors or shiny plant pots and stuff. Cool. This kit has obviously got a lot of wooden pieces to make the shelves and the tables and the chairs, and there's a standing mirror and the ironing board. So it has a whole bunch of wooden parts, or bags. That, and then the dowels for the legs of the table and chairs and stuff. And then the kits also come with a pair of tweezers, which are completely useless. I don't think I've ever used the tweezer to actually put things together. Lately they've started coming with plastic tweezers, but they used to come with metal ones. But they're quite flimsy, and especially if you're picking up beads and stuff, the beads just shoot out of them. I normally use the tweezers to curl paper. I find that's quite handy if you're making plants and flowers that need to be rolled. So I would curl the paper first and then start rolling it. It just makes it a lot easier to work with. See, it's also got some metal rods. We're going to be doing some wire work. And then there is a big wrapped up set of wooden parts. This is to make the base and the outside frame with. So I'm suspecting that a lot of these need to be painted. There's also always a little piece of sanding paper in here, so that when you push out some of the parts, you can actually sand them down a little bit. But I see there aren't a lot of push out wooden parts in this set, but some of the other sets that I have done, they have a lot of pieces that you actually have to push out of it's like a laser cut on one piece, and then you push them out, and then you have to sand them down a little bit just to make it a little bit neater. And then this also has some paper stuff that you'll have to cut out and make books with. So these here is a book, so you'd cut it out and fold it in on each other. So yeah, there's actually not too many books. I hate making books. They're very difficult to fold and glue. And then it's got the cardboard parts as well. The cardboard parts are quite hard to fold as well, so I normally like to just score them a little bit with the back of my craft knife, or even with one of the old metal tweezers that I have. The kits also come with this, where you can have, there's a QR code on it that you can scan. The one kit that I made, it was one of the first clay ones that I did. It didn't actually have an instruction book with it. It only had a QR code, so I had to go watch how to do all the parts on a YouTube video, and I found that to be quite difficult, because the guy, they obviously build it a lot faster than, you can't follow along and build it. You have to look and then pause it and then do the thing, and that didn't work for me. So I much prefer the kits that have books. So yeah, that is everything that is in this kit. I am quite excited to start this build. So hopefully I will get around to doing that pretty soon. So please join me again and join me on this journey and see what this is all about. You might be new to building models or knowing about building models. Maybe you don't know that this even exists. One thing I must say though is this is not for children. I have had some people make remarks about, oh yeah, I'm going to get one of those for my kids to make, sort of as like a low-key diss that I'm doing kid stuff. But these kits are actually really difficult, and I wouldn't recommend them for kids under 12 years of age, because I don't think they have the attention span and the patience to deal with some of the stuff, and it's very small as well. So yeah, definitely not a kid's toy. I also wouldn't let a kid play with this after I've built it, because it takes a lot of work to do these, and if anyone touches them and breaks them, I would probably break them. I'm very, very protective of my minis. So yeah, please join me and yeah, watch me build this stuff and get angry, and hopefully it'll be very entertaining and you'll learn something new, and I hope this inspires you to start your own little miniature collection. See you next time.